this video, I'll tell you how to properly tie up cucumbers that are growing in our greenhouse and have already started to lie down on the ground. We'll need an ordinary string, which contains a special component that protects it from ultraviolet light, which tends to destroy the string. A small knife. And basically, that's all we need. For this demonstration, I'm using two cameras to help you see the process more clearly. One camera is attached to my Xiaomi vest, so you can get a close-up view of what I'm doing with my hands as I work. The second camera is set up in front of me, capturing my actions from another angle. Both cameras will be recording, making sure you don't miss any important steps. Now, before we move on, it's important to prepare the cucumber plant. You need to... It can be either synthetic or natural. Natural materials rot faster and become unusable. Then, at a distance of 1 centimeter from the root, which is measured carefully to ensure precision, we tie a knot, usually about 3 knots in total, to make sure it doesn't come undone. This extra security helps keep everything in place and prevents the knot from loosening over time. Don't tighten it too much. Instead, make sure to leave a loose section that measures about 2 or 3 times the diameter of the grown stem, as this extra space is important for healthy growth. If you make it too tight, it will restrict the flow of sap, which is essential for the plant's nourishment and overall health. Ensuring the tie is not overly tight helps prevent damage and allows the stem to expand naturally as it grows. If you make it too loose, it will slip off. It's preferable for the soil to be drier, so that when you pull the string, you don't damage the roots, which might get pulled out if they haven't taken hold well yet. After that, carefully measure out the required distance using a measuring tape or ruler. In my garden, I have 2 strings that I have carefully stretched above the tomato plants, running parallel to each other. These strings are there, so I can tie the tomato bushes to them as they grow, helping the plants stay upright and supported. On each slope, there are approximately about 4 bushes in total, which we will carefully distribute and fan out evenly across the entire width between the rows. Take a piece of string and hold one end at your starting point. Carefully stretch the string up to the upper string, making sure it stays straight and does not sag, so your measurement is accurate. Once you have measured the distance, add about 20 centimeters to the total length. Here, you can stretch a wire instead, depending on how each person has planned things. Carefully make 2 or 3 turns around the central string, and then gently make a small loop. This way, if necessary, you can tighten it later. If the bush starts to sag, you can either tie it to another part of the rope, or replace the rope if it gets damaged. You shouldn't tighten it too much here. This knot is definitely more than enough to securely keep the cucumber from accidentally falling down. Now, all that's left to do is to carefully take the bush and gently wrap it around the stem 2 or 3 times, either in a clockwise or counterclockwise direction, whichever is more convenient for you. Up to the point where the very last leaves, as well as the very first leaves, simply won't be secured at all. Now, as it grows, it will use its tendrils to grab onto this string, maybe even onto neighboring strings, and in the future, it won't fall over as much. It will absorb much more sunlight, allowing it to grow stronger and ultimately yield a significantly bigger harvest. Unlike those other cucumbers, which simply spread out along the ground, this one thrives by reaching upward. We do the same thing with the rest of the bushes. And in the end, we'll have a kind of small, delicate ikebana arrangement, which will keep gently winding around the main string as it grows and develops. This string is approximately about 2 meters in length, so it will definitely be more than enough for it to grow and expand as needed. I don't pinch off the neighboring leaves. Some gardeners and hobbyists do pinch off the shoots that grow to the sides. I leave everything as it is to get a bigger harvest. We do the same procedure with the rest of the cucumbers. I'll show everything a bit in fast forward, so you can clearly see how it's done. Ideally, of course, you should do this work closer to the evening or early in the morning, so it's not too hot. It's already evening, but it's still pretty warm here, so we'll be working in the heat. This is what the tied up cucumbers look like. We will do the same procedure with all the other beds where they are planted. I lower 2 plants onto one string and 2 plants onto another, which is stretched at a distance of half a meter. This is necessary so that as much of the greenhouse space as possible is filled with cucumber foliage. At the moment, nothing is sick, but if aphids or spider mites suddenly appear, it will be necessary to treat the plants so they don't dry out. Here, all our cucumbers are tied up. You can clearly see that at this point there is now plenty of space available for them to grow, spread out and vine. After tying up the cucumbers, it's necessary to water them so that the roots, which may have been slightly disturbed, are covered with soil and there are no air pockets. At the same time as watering, I'll try to fertilize them a little. For this process, I use well-rotted, thoroughly decomposed chicken manure that has been sitting in a barrel for about a week, and I will fertilize our plants at a careful ratio of 1:20. For this, I take a 10-liter watering can. And here in the bucket, I already have the decomposed chicken manure. For 10 liters, I usually pour in approximately about half a liter of this thick slurry mixture. And after that, you can gently shake the watering can a little so that the fertilizer is evenly distributed in the water. And then we will water the plants. It is best to fertilize soil that has been pre-watered so as not to burn the roots, because otherwise all your work will be wasted. In cold weather, it is preferable to water and fertilize in the morning. But if warm days have already arrived and the air temperature do not drop below 20 degrees, then it's preferable to water in the evening because cucumbers grow at night. And an extra watering at night with warm water stimulates their growth.